This message is for the community of Los Angeles. It's to alert you that I will be doing a last-minute stand-up show Thursday, March 13th, 8 p.m. at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room, and you can get tickets at the link below or the link above, but the Comedy Store website as well. And I'll see you there. It's going to sell out very fast. Thursday, March 13th, 8 p.m. Special guests, all me, all them. You guys, we have a guest that we have been trying to get since we started this show. She's been one of our most requested guests.
Aww.
She's my friend, okay? I've known her for a long time. And she has a brand new special that's out today on Amazon called A Different Animal. And it's probably her like 400th special at this point. Please welcome Iliza Shlesinger.
Very excited to be here.
Okay, there's a lot. First of all, I need to know, what is it like having a second baby?
Are you thinking about it?
I'm thinking a lot of things. I'm thinking one and done is beautiful, and I'm also thinking about other things.
Yeah. Is your audience the kind of audience that wants to know this? Because I'm at a place in my career where like it's 50-50.
What do you mean?
Well, you get like younger girls that are like, nobody wants to hear about your baby.
No.
And then you get men who never want to think about a baby.
We get everybody, and don't even go there.
No, because I want to tailor my answer
No.
I often forget about my son. That's the real answer. And I know it's like, oh my God, they're beautiful blessings from God. I talk about Sierra and I'm like, and Ethan, of course, who I also wanted and had. He is, we have nannies. And so he's often just like tucked away. This isn't like British style where it's like children should be seen, not heard. But like he's just so taken care of. And of course I see him and kiss him. But like at the beginning, like a day would go by where I'd like see him in a hallway.
I love you. This is like the most refreshing motherhood.
Having two nannies is so refreshing.
but
it's
just
true.
being so honest and open about it, because I do feel like most people pretend that they're full-time moms, and I'm like, I just left your house. You have 4 nannies. Like,
Here's the truth. If anybody is not losing their mind, it's because they have help.
yeah.
And I think people that have help, it's still very difficult. Like my heart breaks in half when I have to leave my daughter. I love being home for her.
Just your daughter.
There you go again. There we go again. Yes. But you miss, your children, and having both of them is so much fun. The truth is, when they're little, like they don't come online until around like 10 months. And prior to that, it's just this like potato.
What does it mean though when they come online? Like they start like knowing you?
Like he knows his name. He can't really, he doesn't, like girls are faster than boys, but like when Sierra was that age, like she was almost walking, she was cruising around, like you were really engaging with her. She knew her name, she could snap, like she could do like little tricks. And he's little tricks, like little monkey tricks. And he's getting there, but before that, like it's boring.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say that, but I like breastfeeding is boring and it's hard. And some women, like this is all consuming and this is everything, and it wasn't that for me. And so I know how fun it gets. So I'm just like waiting for him to get through this like first year before, so we can
You're like
take
a dad.
him around. Yeah, I want someone I can throw that ball around with. I've just had so much fun with Sierra, so I can't wait till Ethan has like really joined the team.
Oh, this is so funny. Wait, okay, were you ever like, it might just be one for us, or?
I'm one of those women who, in the back of my mind, I was always like, yeah, one day you'll get married and you'll have 2 kids because you were one of 2 kids. And you'll do it a little bit later in life because that was normalized to me, because my mom was not like an old mom, but she was older. She didn't have me in her 20s. She had me, I think, at like 34. So that was a normal thing for me.
I love that. For me, it wasn't so much my mom, but my dad was 44. And so I really wanted to be like my dad. And I was like, I'll do it then, which was a little delusional, but
44, it's tough. It's a tough choice.
that was going to be pushing it.
He's like, here's the difference between men and women.
Yeah, I would have to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
But I feel similar. Like early was never on the table for me. Like early baby.
I mean, it depends on the life. I mean, look, it's always the wrong time or the right time, depending on how you want to look at it. And I worked really hard in my 20s and 30s to establish myself in this business. And it's not even so much about like doing the things I set out to do, but just exploring life.
Okay, you know what I'm experiencing? Do you have this at all? Like, I hope you don't, because I need to shake this, but at least the very like first 6 months postpartum, I had all this regret of not like having a baby earlier and like hating myself and like wishing I was that person that was like, oh, in my 20s I knew.
In LA, if you have a child in your 20s, something either went wrong or like your parents had a ton of money and you were like, I'll just do this. Like it's not something that you see a lot in Hollywood.
All I can think of is Sophia Richie right now. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yep, you had the time, you had the
Kylie
money.
Jenner.
And it's great to, have tons of money and if you want to be a mom, that's great. But if you are the one making all the money and you don't come from parents who can establish you in Hollywood and you have to, like, these careers take like 20 years to like foment. Like you've got to like ferment. They take a long time to like get going. And so it wasn't like, oh my God, of course we'd all like to meet the perfect person and figure that out. But it was never like a rejection of, it was just like, yeah, I'm doing stand up. I'm on the road. I'm writing movies. I'm trying to act. I'm trying to do stuff. And I just always knew like it would come around. That's
cool. And how is it then going from like being this like hardworking hustler, career driven person to like being a mom?
You don't lose it. It doesn't.
Really? Are you sure?
Like, how does it go from being like relevant and thin to like whatever is sitting here?
Wait, look at who snuck in, and I've never found you to be more creepy.
Oh, she's growling. The dog's growling.
So scary. Cause look at her. Come on in. Wait,
do you have Bell's palsy?
I do.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on. Just stop. She has Bell's palsy. Don't growl at her.
You're fine.
Hunter Hill, who opens for me. He's alive. He got Bell's palsy.
Really?
And
From
he talks
what?
about it. I don't know. He just got it, and he went away. I gave him a line in my movie, and we were all set to film. And he like showed up. He was like, "This is my face," and I was like, "We'll just do a voiceover."
Yeah, that's sort of where I was in the beginning, just like drooling everywhere.
Wait, have you guys never met?
No.
Okay, how have you never been on Tigerbelly?
I stopped admitting to people, especially women in comedy, if I don't know them, because people get so angry at me in particular.
Really?
If I do, oh my God. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I meet like 50 people a night. Like I'm out at club. People, they get very angry. That's
unreasonable.
It's unhinged unreasonable, but I don't feel like, I don't know you, so I don't know your mental health state. So when you walked in, I was just like, I'm just going to pretend like we've met.
No.
And if she wants to tell me otherwise, then that's great.
I would never be offended by that. Oh my God, that's so silly. I think that's because I rarely went to the Comedy Store in the 10 years I dated Bobby. Maybe.
So she was asking me, she's like, don't you know she dated Bobby? And because Esther was asking me, and I was like, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of girls floating around.
So many.
There are so many. And the girls do change a lot.
To be fair.
Yeah, it's a fast turnover. I get it. But also, like, I hated it there. I never.
It's a vibe. It's like does anyone else want to have a sleepover at the Addams Family house? Like, and you're not the only one to say that. It is my home, but most comics find it to be like an unsettling place.
But why have you not? Because when I think of like the original like Comedy Store class crew, it's like you and Bobby are in that. How have you not been on Tigerbelly?
I have no idea. You're
don't
asking
know
me, but I
either.
don't know. I mean,
I have no idea either, because I know you and Bobby, I think we may have. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Should I call him and ask him?
Call him.
I was gonna give you some like weird
No, he's
answer.
gonna. I already know it. She hates me. She hates me is what he's gonna say.
I think male comics get really intimidated by me, and I'm just
I
like,
do
oh,
think
I've
that's
never
real.
said. I had one comic that stopped speaking to me, and then he called me. He's like, "Do you want to do my show? I feel like you don't like me." I'm like, "You stop, bro. You stop talking to me." Like you
So
walk in and they
weird.
just like won't, and I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty cool with everyone.
I feel like Bobby is the type to create like those stories.
Okay, I'm here with Iliza Shlesinger, and I was just wondering, how has she never been on Tigerbelly?
I don't know. How is that possible?
Yeah, is there something there that we don't know?
No. I want her on it. I don't know. I don't know.
Is it? Do you have a crush on her?
I think she's attractive. I don't have a crush on her. I mean, she's a friend, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bobby.
Oh, she heard me just now?
Esther did that. And this is all. This is why you don't like Esther.
I said I'm with Iliza. How did you not know that she was listening?
I didn't know she was, but now that I do, I'm a little I'm blushing.
Oh. So you do have a crush on her.
This is making me so anxious.
All right. Okay. We'll see you
I
later.
love you.
I see
Thanks,
Bobby
I
like
love you.
5 times a week, by the way. Like I bring this man up. We see each other in the green room. Like I don't think I do a lot of podcasts.
You don't. That's why when you said yes, I was like, wait, you guys, what's going on?
Okay, let's look at these receipts. You often will ask me, you'll be like, do you want to do my podcast tomorrow? Can you come today? And I'm like, no, like I work, like I can't, like I have like a functioning schedule. But you ask me with plenty of time.
That's true.
And so I always like it's a cool request. So, but I can't. It's rarely, it's not like we're going to get a pedicure.
No, I'm so glad that you're here. Because do you remember that you did my original podcast like 10 years ago? We talked about Yankee Candles.
Oh my God, no, but that sounds like me.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I would have been very into.
What is the new candle these days? What is the candle outside of like what's that place on Larchmont? The $150 candle.
What is that? Is
I
that
mean, like, what brand is the brand?
Yeah,
I think there's too many now. Like, what's it? Voluspa?
Yeah, Voluspa is.
Voluspa.
Is it Voluspa? Voluspa.
I don't know.
I like Voluspa.
I think they both sound weird. Voluspa sounds like a head,
Yeah.
like sound bath.
I like 1990X, which is brand new. I think that's the new
At
cool
the end
girl
of the
candle.
day, like you just want a clean burn. You know
clean
what's a great
burn.
one?
Clean burn.
I'll give them a shout out. Dev Candle Co. They make my candles that I sell on tour, and their candles come in gorgeous cement planters.
Oh my god.
Okay, I like
And-
a reusable. Like let's keep this going.
I like the idea of a reusable one, and then I'm like, I can't get this wax out. I'm gonna throw it away.
Were you just in Tokyo?
I was.
How was it? Was that your first
Awesome.
time,
No,
or do you always go?
I always go.
Are you a repeat Japan?
I'm always going to
always
Tokyo. You guys have to go. I hope someone tunes in just there. Yeah, like arigato. I was doing USO shows in Okinawa.
I want to go to Okinawa
You got
so
to.
bad.
It's awesome. It would be Okinawa is the best way to describe it. If Japan had won World War II, this is what Hawaii would look like.
Ugh.
It's the Japanese Hawaii.
Because
isn't
it is
it like
an
a blue
island.
zone?
Are you
Yeah, it is
Okinawan?
a blue zone.
You could go either way.
I'm half Japanese.
Yeah, you look part something.
Wait, you could tell.
The eyes. I wouldn't have guessed Japanese, but you're definitely not a white person.
Really?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll go far in Hollywood. She has like a look.
I'd never picked up on that. I'm impressed with your abilities.
Well, I think when you're Jewish, you kind of always like looking around like who
I'm
would defend
Jewish?
me? Who's different? I know you are, but I'm always looking. I walked in the room when I'm on Zoom calls. I kind of clock. You're just always like who's like me here?
Who will the Nazis take when they come for me?
Who looks more Jewish than me? But yeah, Okinawa is incredible, and so we did military shows. I do a lot of USO shows, and then you can't go there and not go to Tokyo. So
Right,
we went
right.
and just
No,
knock our
Okinawa
faces
is a
off.
dream just because I dive a lot, like I free dive and I
Oh, cool.
spearfish. And Okinawa, they have those little like islets
Who
around.
says that?
What?
You're saying that like I'm like I go Pilates, I do yoga, like I spearfish, I dive. Yeah, that would be the part of the world where you could like do that stuff for sure.
No, I live part time in Hawaii and stuff, but Okinawa has always been the one place where I'm like, shit.
Are you a Hawaiian person?
My partner is Hawaiian.
Because you sounded a little Hawaiian just then.
I'm Filipino. That's what. You're
Okay,
picking
that's
up
what I'm
on.
picking
Well,
up
you
on.
are good. It's island something. You picked up on the island something.
I'm sensing something tropical.
do me.
You're Jewish, and your name's Esther, so there goes that. I'm just endlessly fascinated, and we're not allowed to talk about it anymore because you get canceled. But like, I love guessing.
Yeah.
If you give me your last name, where you're from, and it's just like a passion
But
of
also
mine.
maybe bring it back. Is it? I
Yeah.
mean, is it that terrible? I mean, if you know somebody, I don't know.
I
don't
think
think it's bad.
though, because my thing is I never was guessing, but I always ask. I always want to know.
wanna know.
And then then I hear it's like people get upset. They're like, white people always ask me what, and I'm like, fuck. But
But you know what? You can fire back. You can be like, I'm Jewish. It's different.
Nobody cares about that.
Turns out they do a lot. I think it's in the way that you ask.
Yeah.
If you told me your last name and I guessed, especially if you guess a country that most people don't guess, like, how did you know? And you're like, oh, then it opens up to me being like, oh, I used to visit there, or my partner's from there, or it creates a dialogue versus me being like, yeah, but where are you really from?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's not what you
that's
ask.
true. Yeah.
Where's your family from? Or where's your last name from?
Yeah, like if someone was like, "Oh, I'm from Eritrea," like,
Yeah.
whoa, so cool, the smallest country in like Africa.
Aritzia?
Get a discount.
Yes, Aritzia.
Do you get it?
Can you give me like a manager's discount? It's always that thing too when someone says it and you have no context for it. Like when you're drunk in an Uber and they say like, I'm from Moldova, and you're like, dope. Like, what do I do with that?
The creepiest one is I don't answer that question for a specific type of person, which is usually like if I can sense a passport bro, and if it's somebody who like exoticizes either a Filipino woman and they can sense my accent a little bit, they're just foaming at the mouth, waiting to be like Jollibee, or like lumpia, or something that like kind of connects them to
absolutely
whatever bride they once had from the Philippines.
Oh my god, whatever underage bride
exactly, and
you
then
picked
it's
up
just
at duty
like,
free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say not being a person of color at all and being Jewish, like I am dying for someone to be like, you're Jewish? Oh my God, I love rugala, or like one of our like okay things.
Does that never happen?
Ever. We eat everyone's like you get like Jews are like, I love Chinese food. I am dying for Chinese people to be like, we love matzo ball soup, and we never get it.
Do you like Jewish food?
What? Ashkenazi, like European Jewish food?
Yeah.
I think we have some bangers.
Like what though?
Like matzo ball soup.
That is a banger.
Basically chicken soup. I mean, everybody's got their chicken, but chicken noodles, like that's ours. Okay, we can just squash this. You want to protest about something? It should be that. Black and white cookie.
That's Jewish? Mm-hmm. I always think New York, but I guess it's the same thing.
Tell me the difference.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the big two. Those
like
are the big
lox
two.
And bagel. Like
bagel and lox. Bagels. Bagels are ours.
Oh, that's true. I love bagels, but lox scares me. I'm like,
that's fine if you're not. But like those are hits. Like those are like indisputable. Everyone loves those. And then everything else, it's kind of like you eat it because it's the food. Like my mom likes chopped liver. I'm not gonna eat. Really? See, I would never.
Love anything
but I feel like
liver.
Filipinos are much more holistic in like the food that you will eat. Like maybe it's like a little less, I don't know, Americanized. Like
yeah,
Filipino.
I think we just like consume every part of the animal. Like you utilize all.
That's because
the
you're part
parts.
Asian, and
Yeah.
like Asians do not play.
No,
Like,
and
they
we
go
have
eyeballs
names for like
first, the fish.
eyeballs first. Now you learned.
Yeah.
You've learned eyeballs first. But even like street food, if it's like chicken feet, we call it Adidas. And
What do you mean?
because it's the feet of the chicken. You're like, do you want Adidas?
Why is it called Adidas?
Because running shoes, feet.
Oh my god.
And
Yeah, I thought it was like a word being interpreted. You're like,
like-
nope, it's after the shoe.
the chicken head is called like Walkman. It's just you just have your
Oh, because you're
terms.
on your Walkman,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
with
yeah.
your chicken head. How 80s? That's
So
so fun.
80s,
Not even
right?
Discman.
Wait, did you know that you were like doing a whole life hack here by marrying a chef?
No, food is not important. I'm saying this to like a Filipino woman. It's not important to me in the way it is to a lot of people. It's important what I eat. Of course, I want to eat well and be healthy. But like you're talking to someone who, if my husband is not around, like I will eat a bag of carrots and like 3 bowls of cereal.
What?
I don't get comfort. Like everybody has things that they like to eat, but when I'm sad, I don't have like my mom's meatloaf, and I don't have. It's just not the comfort for me. I would stress eat something, but I met him, and he always makes fun of me, and I don't know. When I met him, he's like, I want to make you pasta. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't love pasta. I know, my girl card will get revoked. I don't love pasta. But he's like, okay, well, what kind of pasta do you want? I was like, I don't know. Can you do like spaghetti marinara with like a chicken breast on it? And so he made it, right? So no one here is saying anything, which makes me feel better. And he
No,
made
I
it.
was about to. Sorry.
Okay.
What? What were you about to say?
And the chicken breast.
Okay,
It is
Adidas.
really
Well, no, but okay, good.
just because I'm not a breast girl. Like I'm
Oh.
a dark meat.
Oh, man.
Breast over pasta is like just
So I never thought about it. And like months later, like we're in love. I don't know if this was before or after we got engaged. He was like, I didn't want to say anything because I really liked you. It's different now. Really liked you. But he's like, that's a trash order. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, like adding a protein to your pasta is like a very like suburban corporate restaurant, like add a protein. And I'm from Dallas. Like we have a ton of like Carrabba's Family Grill. Like I grew up going to like corporate restaurants, and so it was very normal to me to like add a protein. And I was like, that's how you get your protein. I need to eat chicken.
Okay, so this is where I'm on your side. Pasta is like not a main course. They say it's a side. So
In America, I think Italians would disagree.
I don't know, because I think
wait, pasta is a side?
think about it. Just
Googling,
think,
is pasta a side?
it's not. It's just a starch. There is not a protein. Like what would he? How would he have amended your order? That's what I'm
I
curious.
think you just do like a beautiful, delicate pasta, or there's just different pasta dishes. There's chicken parmesan, but that's definitely not what I ordered. And that is like an American Italian thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I'm from like the biggest suburb ever. Of course, I'm going to add a protein for $5.99 onto my pasta. So He makes our food.
Wait, now I have to ask the most important question so far is what cereal do you eat when you eat 3 bowls in one sitting?
Oh, it's so like this sounds like I have an eating disorder and I don't, but it's like a healthy, like no sugar, like healthy O's. Like it's just like a pure grain, zero sugar, but and I put like berries in it. It's not about the cereal. It's about what is available that I don't have to cook,
Right.
that I don't have to clean up. Like it's a big deal for me to take out a
It's
pan.
girl dinner.
It's if there's like
Yeah.
feral girl dinner,
Yeah.
like I don't want to clean up the dish.
I was gonna say just because cereal is in eating disorder school we call it a red light food, like where you can't control yourself around it.
Well, what cereal is it? Like Golden Grams for sure. I'm gonna go.
Sure, but for me, literally Raisin Bran. Like Raisin Bran is.
It's so good
Thank you.
because there's sugar on it.
Yes, it's covered in sugar.
2 scoops.
And it's like so crunchy and satisfying.
I will tell you when I travel, which is often in international lounges, they'll have like a sad American section. And there's always like, first of all, we drink so much milk. When you ask for milk, they're always like, yes, like in Japan, they're like, here you go. I'm like, oh no, honey, like I need milk. Like bring out that cow, like the amount of dairy we consume. And they'll have it on the buffet. Like they had it in Okinawa and there's like a little thing of milk. I'm like, is there any in the back? Like I need to saturate it, but there's always bran flakes. And it is a comfort food for me when I travel internationally to like eat them in a lounge.
It's so good. And I bet that makes you sick to hear that she's like internationally traveling eating bran flakes.
In the lounge on the American side.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you have a nostalgia for it, fine. I didn't grow up eating cereal, but like I grew up eating like shit like you wouldn't like
Spam.
always fish for breakfast.
Yeah.
which is you have trouble with that.
Americans have trouble with that. In Japan, they do it.
Yeah,
I
fish
could
is-
get into it in another country. I do when I travel. But around day 5, like we went to Thailand, and obviously it's incredible food, but everything is wet. When you eat Thai food, it's wet. The noodles are wet. There's curries. There's not like a dry, but they don't do like a lot of bread.
I've never heard anyone complain about food not being
Not a
dry
complaint.
enough.
It's not a complaint. It is just something that I'm noting that their cuisine tends to be wet. And about day 5, after going North Thailand, South, whatever, eating everything. In an airport, I was like, I need to get a fried chicken sandwich from McDonald's. Like I needed the crunch and the dry and the bread, just because it's what you're used to.
One thing I do is any country that I visit, I always go to a McDonald's because their menu is so different everywhere you go. Like in the Philippines, they will serve you rice with stuff.
The Applebee's in Tokyo was the best salad I've ever had in my life.
What are you doing? Was it at the gig? Is that why you
There
went?
was no gig involved.
You were just there.
Yeah.
And you went to an Applebee's.
Yeah.
This is when you were on a wheelchair all around Tokyo?
Yeah, I was in a wheelchair. I broke my toe the day before we left and I couldn't walk.
I feel like that's an accommodating place.
It's not.
It's not?
Well, like getting on and off the subways was pretty hard.
I guess accommodating in that I think people would be kind. In
Yeah.
America, we're
Yeah.
accommodating because people will get sued if they don't have like ADA compliant things. But I don't know. I don't know why you went to an Applebee's.
It was good though.
But why'd you go?
We were at the airport.
That's different. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I had the most I had the most elegant experience traveling from Tokyo to the Okinawa airport. The little terminal we flew out of in Haneda had like the nicest little ramen shop. And there was a bookstore, and it was just so calm. It wasn't like people screaming about check bag fees and like a Shake Shack. Like it was just, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna
Wahlburgers.
make it. Yeah.
It's in all the airports now.
I was just in Tokyo a couple months ago, and did I tell you this? How I walked up this shrine early one morning. I thought I was being extra ambitious. I went on a 2-hour walk, probably like 1,000 steps, came back and went to the bathroom,
Okay.
into the shower, washed my butt, and realized that I had not even just a hemorrhoid, like a fucking anal prolapse.
Oh no.
From walking up the stair. Did I not tell you this? The sweetest little pharmacy, because I panicked. I was like, oh my God, my asshole's on the ground. And
Typical American.
typical American. And I went in and I was like, oh my God, how do I explain to this woman?
Wait,
Yeah.
so did your butt, the inside of your butt came out?
Yes. At first I was like, oh, this is just a hemorrhoid. I can push it back up. No, but it was longer than that. It was like a
That's
little.
your intestine. Yeah, your
my
whole.
intestines were. And so I went into this little pharmacy, and this like 100-year-old lady who had inherited this pharmacy, this compounding pharmacy from like her grandfather.
This is what she has to deal with.
And she looked me in the face, and I swear I didn't even have to tell her. She was like, basically, I got you. She gave me this little tube of something, and I have never seen even so much of an inch of a hemorrhoid since then. It crawled right, my asshole crawled right back up, and I never saw it again.
Oh my
You're
god.
like, sumimasen, my asshole fell out. Arigato gozaimasu. Like, as long as you are polite, like, they're down.
Exactly.
As long as you play by their rules, they're down. That's amazing. You
I
gotta-
know, and I brought tubes back home because I was like, oh, everyone's got to have this in their purse, I
well,
think.
I'll be waiting for mine for next Christmas.
I have
My
it for you.
tube.
A stocking
My tube
stuffer.
of ass cream, of asshole injector. Yeah.
Okay, before you were here, I was like, I asked Eliza what it's like having 2 kids, and she said she forgets that she has the second one, which is kind of the most beautiful. Like, I want to talk more about you being like.
Let me just say this. What's so terrifying isn't the word. Obviously, I really applaud how open you are about your asshole.
Thank you.
Every woman has the line that they draw on certain things. I find that it's difficult to discuss being a mom. It's not difficult. I mean, I'm a comedian. I can talk about it. People are just so ready to be angry at you for whatever choices you make. And I'm so steadfast in my choices. So it's not that I feel insecure. It's that I don't want to hear from a comment section why that's wrong, or oh, she's got help, oh, she must be a bitch, she must, like, people just want, it doesn't matter what you do as a mom, people will think you're doing it wrong,
I'm
and they're
getting
ready
the
to fire
chills
off.
at how real that is and how I feel that, and I'm never able to articulate it, but it is like anything I want to share about being a mom, then I
that's
go,
right.
wait, well then that's gonna, these people will be mad about that, or like even like a positive thing, and it's like, well, you're I don't know, it's just everything.
And it's not even about, like, as comedians, it's not even about, oh, I'm embarrassed. It's about, now I have to deal with this unnecessary bad vibe. And if I do see that comment, or now, oh, I was a fan, now I'm not, and I'm gonna let her know, or guys that are like disgusted that you did it, and it's not about hurting my feelings, it's about me being like, where the fuck do you get off thinking your opinion on the way I am parenting my child and being vulnerable and open about it fucking counts? It doesn't. And so when I had my children, like, I made it a point to not make it look like I'm doing this on my own. Like, I have help. It's help that I paid for with a career that I built, but like, we have 2 nannies and our kids are great because of those 2 nannies.
By the way, I told Esther this today. America is the only place where you are somehow shamed for having help. Like, I grew up with a nanny for me, a nanny for my sister, everyone having live-in nannies. That's how every other country outside of America works. It's a whole village, and we
don't like childcare, and we don't like mothers in this country.
The whole country shits on mothers. Like, literally, this is the country. If you want to feel isolated, if you want to feel depressed, if you want to feel just horrible about motherhood, this is the place to be.
Yeah, we have so much freedom. We're drowning in our freedom. I really want to start talking about this on stage, like the genuine ire toward mothers, and it's not just from, like, even down to the term like MILF. Like, what is that? So to me, MILF suggests even though she is a mother and therefore her vagina might be weird, I still would let her fuck me. Like, that's why it's cringy. So, because otherwise you're just like, I'm still a woman and you still would. And so you get that. If you're a girl who doesn't have kids, chances are, and I don't blame you, you don't really want to hear about kids. If you can't have kids, you don't want to hear about some woman's kids. If you're child-free by choice, you feel shamed. So then people have to have another layer to that. And so, but this all gets directed at women, and we are not the orchestrators of this. Like, we are just merely having our children. In no receipt ever have I ever told a woman what to do with her body or what was wrong.
Right.
But the anger gets directed at moms because we are the ones who deign to spend time outwardly parenting and showing what we're doing. So it's all out there. You don't make fun of dads because people don't want to come for men, because then, you know, your school might get shot up or something.
Oh, shit.
But it's true. It's always an easier target to shit on women or make fun of that celebrity mom because we talk about these things. So I refuse to be shamed for anything, but I also am very aware that, like, as a woman, whatever choices you make, you're going to get shit on. And as a mom, you're going to lose people. You're going to lose fans that don't want to hear about it.
It's so true.
And then the women that do have kids are like, well, she eats bran, which goes in the bloodstream. It's not good. Like, what the fuck do you know?
I have to say,
I've
a lot of the shame for me, like, it's coming from within, which obviously is like a reflection of the culture, but I feel so much shame that I do need help. And like,
What do you feel shame about?
Okay, I'll tell you, because I think about my sister and my mom, and I think about how they didn't have nannies or babysitters.
They didn't have help.
Exactly.
Okay.
I go, I'm struggling. Well, they did it. Why can't I do it? So because we had some help 3 days a week. I had someone coming part-time, and we ended up losing her. She like got a job
died?
with her son. No, we killed her.
You lost her to the post office.
Yeah, she got a job working with her son. We're very
She got
happy.
a government job. She gets benefits. She gets
Yeah.
like Martin Luther King Day off. Yeah.
I'm happy for her. I miss her. It's like been the mother wound is getting me because I'm like, I love her so much.
She doesn't think about you,
Yeah,
just so you know.
I know. I can tell.
These nannies are just like peace.
And
Like,
the attachment
make
I have
80 grand a
is-
year somewhere else.
is so deep. Anyway, so then we haven't had anyone, and guys, like it's not easy to do it on your own.
It's the hardest job in the world. That's why it's the hardest job in the world, and it's so unrelatable, and that's why there's no empathy. Because until you do it, you cannot begin to fathom how spiritually, physically taxing, mentally, emotionally, and what it does to you. And it's not about, because you were asking me about like ambition before. It doesn't take away your ambition, but you are tired, and it like refocuses things. It's not like all the things that I wanted aren't important, but it's important to see my daughter.
You just don't
And my
have
son.
like it's disposable energy. It's not it's not available. Like you just don't have. And also, by the way, Esther, the fact that you think that just because your mom or your sister white knuckled motherhood doesn't mean like you should be a martyr to that
At
like,
all.
At all. Like,
Are they gonna come and like comfort that child at 2 a.m. when they're crying? Like, who does it help if you're extra exhausted? Like, there's no Mother of the Year award.
Yeah, it's
Like, spend the money.
no one is judging me except myself.
But can I say something? That's actually not true. What is resonating with you is the comment section of our lives in the wake of, I guess, the internet being established, but in the last few years and in this swing of people having to be overly sensitive, what you are talking about and what I am talking about is this collective conscience of people shaming you, small people who are nothing but angry and jealous, their voices being elevated. So you're hearing, like, you don't actually feel bad. What you feel bad about is that someone who has nothing would deign to make you feel bad about it. That's what it is.
Interesting.
We've all been subjected to this like somebody who's sitting there with their thumbs on their toilet that hates you for being pretty, which you are, and you have to get over it.
Oh my
which
God,
I've
stop,
always said
I'm
this. I'm like,
shy.
Esther like wishes she were uglier.
I know,
You're
right?
like, isn't that interesting? Like, no, like you're just a pretty girl. Not just, but you are pretty. It's all the have-nots that are always angry at women in particular who dare to try. And so they're sitting there with no child, or they're sitting there with no help, wishing they had these things, and they're mad at you for what?
Yeah.
Because they feel bad.
Right, and it's like, be mad at Kylie Jenner.
She'll never hear you. Be mad at Gavin Newsom. Be mad at like your mayor. Be mad at like things that you can change. Be mad at your like local elected officials, not some celebrity who's out of touch and I guess that's you. Your celebrity's out of touch.
Oh, totally. Wait, it is so refreshing though to hear this, because it's like you had your babies and you weren't like, I have to be only a mother. Like, I have gone through this whole like self-hatred thing of that, and I'm coming out of it. But it's interesting, like you didn't have that problem.
I don't know. I mean, you say only a mother, and like it is so complex and hard and earth-shattering. And I get why women are like, I do just want to stay at home.
Well, did you go through an earth-shattering moment after you had your first?
No, it's been a transformation. It's been me every single day trying to reconcile and like put together like, who am I now? I'm still like funny and I'm still like driven, but like the way that your heart expands when you have this child, and the fact that I'm like, I'd really like to be there when she wakes up for her nap, which prior to having a child, I'm like, who cares? They're napping. But like, and the fact that like I really care about family events now in a way that I never did. Like, you're talking to a girl who like graduated college, like moved to LA, never went home. And it's just, you start to understand all the things your mother was always talking about. And I've just been like, it's like a face melting realization, like all the fears that you have and all of the truth. And this coincides with, you guys are younger than me, but like as we start to age, we went out the other night. We went to a Lunar New Year party.
Oh, fun.
Sorry, I should look at you. And it was great. I was like, all I ever want to do is be invited to like an Indian wedding or like someone's.
Indian weddings really are a thing, though. I was
slap.
so exhausted. I was in New York for 7 days, and I was like, when is this gonna end?
Did you go to the famous one?
No,
Just
not
you
that
just went to a
one.
regular one.
Wait,
But the regular one also, they'll still shut down streets
I
in New
want
York,
that.
and the groom is riding on an elephant, and things are being, and it's
We
a
don't
whole
love that.
thing.
We don't love the elephant.
We don't love the elephant.
don't
I
love
was
that for the
really
elephant.
sad. I was just like, I was literally like,
Yeah.
it's okay, put earmuffs on the elephant. It's loud.
do you
ride
get to
him.
be a princess when you get invited? Like, did you get to dress up like an Indian?
party
Yes,
party?
of course.
Well,
I was also
went-
I was a bridal party. Yeah.
Oh
so-
my God, that sounds amazing. I gotta get an Indian friend that's young enough that she's getting married. That's what I need. So applications are being taken now. But I went to the point is I went to this party and it was on Beechwood. And so we decided we had my daughter Sierra with us. This was the other night. And we decided to just grab some dinner on the way home. I went to this Thai place. It doesn't matter. I went to this Thai place on Hollywood Boulevard. And we're driving through Beechwood and it was like 6:30 at night. And I was having these flashbacks of like going out on the east side and like how in another life, not that long ago, like this is where we would have Ubered to and gotten a drink and I would have met up with some friends. And this is the time of night where like you're still getting ready. Maybe you're about to go work out and then take your nap and then get ready. And how this is where we used to get fucking blasted and just be fucked up and go out. And I'm like, and instead it's 6:30 and I'm making sure my daughter eats enough of her chicken and rice at this restaurant where everyone there was totally on a sober date. Like you're not eating 6:30 dinner on a Saturday in Hollywood unless you're like, and I was just like, wow. And I'm like in an oversized coat and like making sure her seatbelt's on. I was like, the party is over. Like we're out in the party section of LA, but we're just having a very sober dinner of like chicken broth. Like it's over. Like there's no more fun painkillers to take. Like it's over.
But couldn't it not be over? Like, couldn't you still do those things, right? Like, but you don't
I don't
want
want
to.
to.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I mean, I spent so much of my career talking about like going out and vodka sodas and party goblins and like I'm good for a drink and then it doesn't feel great anymore. And it sucks because I would love that.
Do you think that also maybe because you didn't have kids very, very young and you sort of did burn some rubber?
Yeah.
And so by the time, like even for you, Esther, mid-30s, had a kid. Well, you didn't go out to clubs either.
No.
You wasted your youth.
I did. I think, well, okay.
You had a TV show. I'm just saying, it's not like you were like, and I was just, working at the library, just dreaming big. Library. Like, you were
so
you
nice.
were working.
I definitely, though, feel like the party's over. And even though I didn't party traditionally,
Yeah.
there is still a big, the party's over,
Right.
like cloud hanging over me.
But is it I'm glad the party's over?
It's a little bit of both because I was a huge pothead for like the 2 years before I had my baby, and the whole pregnancy, I'm telling you, day in day out, I can't wait to have weed again. I can't wait to have weed again. Like
Yeah.
I was desperate
Even when you were pregnant, you were saying
the
that.
whole pregnancy.
Yeah.
And then I had the baby, and then I was like, oh, I'm good.
That's right.
And for so many reasons. Like one, I
right.
was like, I'm good, and then I was like, I can't be not of sound mind. Like I'm taking care of this kid. And then another point was someone was like, oh, well then, like you'll be wanting to be high while you're with your kid, like looking forward to that later. So I'm like, all these reasons I just stopped. And to me, that's a little bit of like the party's over. I don't know. There's a lot of ways the party's over though.
I mean,
you can't just get on a flight.
you have to consider this other person. I mean, look, there's other ways to party. There are more adult ways. Like we went to a New Year's Eve wedding and it was the way that you party now as an adult. I like booked a town car. I wore a full length wool coat. I got my hair and makeup done. There were girls there with like cracked heels and like jackets that said like Lakers on them. Like there were girls in like Patagonias, like late 20s, like as you would, because you don't have like the nice things.
Right.
And we were in bed by 11. Like there was an open bar, like who wants shots? I'm like, definitely not me. And I'm not dancing because I'm wearing Spanx. And it was just like, oh, mom and dad have come to this wedding. Like it's a
Yeah.
different kind of party.
That's true. And you can't be out past 11 because like
Tired.
your alarm clock is not gonna your baby's not gonna not wake up at that time. Like,
Again, the nanny is there. Someone just came in and handed all of us a banana. And I thought it was like, now it's time for a blowjob corner. But you guys were just having some potassium. Like, I thought this.
Thank you. It is potassium.
that is why.
Which we don't really know what that does.
For me, because I have a heart arrhythmia.
She's so cool.
I'm coconut water and banana queen.
That feels very Filipino. That feels like your mom was like, have a coconut water. And you're like, okay.
Honestly, if you're having like any type of big emotions, have a banana is basically the answer.
You know what? I agree. I believe you because I saw a meme one time that was like, I was upset. My mom told me to have a banana and sit outside. And I was
Exactly.
like, that's true.
No, it does help. I swear to God.
You know what my mom always did was accuse me of being tired, and and now that I
tired,
have a
aren't you?
baby, I'm like, oh, that she just thought I was a baby still. Like now, I don't know, like because when you have a baby, you're like, oh, they're tired.
Oh, you mean like you have an attitude and she's like, you're tired.
Yeah, like
My mom does that. She'll be like, you need to eat something, but
that's
not too much. When I was pregnant with Ethan, I was so excited to drink pet nats because it's sometimes it's natural wine, but like little bubbles. So like, not a champagne, but just like little bubbles. And it's fruity and they're sweet. And I had the baby and we went to Mexico City, like literally like 3 months after I had him. And I was like pumping all through. I'm like, we're going to eat everything. I drank and I look great. And we came home and we went to a natural wine bar and I ordered a bunch of it. And then the next day I was like, I'm done. Like I thought I could just pick back up.
Yeah.
Like you wanted that weed so bad. I was like, I want this little bubbly wine. And I just was like, I'm good.
oh, the desperation to return to what I once was
Yeah.
was so strong, and then you come out on the other side, you're like, that's not there anymore. That
It's not-
person's gone.
My podcast co-host gets mad because I eat in the microphone, but I agree. It's not there.
You seem like you did not lose your identity at all, and you're like just good. But is that just because you're like far out from starting this journey?
I think having help. I mean, look, I had really horrible postpartum depression after having Ethan. My husband says I had it after Sierra, but I really don't remember. Like, I cannot account for who I've been the last 2.5 years of my life. Like, I say things and they're like, well, this is what you asked for on this schedule. I'll be like, I have no record of that. And I even though that is my email, I don't know. And sometimes it's so bad, and because it is so real, you don't know that that's what that is because you're just feeling so bad.
What did it look like for you?
A lot of it was tied to I mean, it's not going to be relatable for everyone and people might turn off after this, but like October 7th for most Jewish people was just an absolute horrific discovery of all the people that you loved and supported that you thought wouldn't hate you. Like turning around and being like, oh, you hate me so much for things that I am not in control of. And then making a choice to be a person who stood up for what I thought was rational thinking. And doing it, I've always been the one that does that. And so I'm sitting there pregnant and then postpartum responding to people, citing facts. Like this has never been an emotional me being like, and I feel like this would be like, here are the facts about this. You cannot beat up Jews in other countries because you don't agree with like just things. And it took a doctor, like a therapist being like, you are taking in a lot spiritually when you are just like an open wound. And because I'm such a fighter and because I build everything from scratch, it didn't occur to me that perhaps while breastfeeding your newborn child, that is not the time to be fielding like Nazi propaganda. Because I was like, well, I have to do this because if I don't, I can't not. And that was really hard to just like process that.
And you're so right that you don't, when you're going through it, you don't know that you're going through it. And
You
that
don't know.
sucks.
And breastfeeding felt really, really horrible for me.
Did you have a DMER?
What is that?
Where it's like, instead of euphoria, that
Yes.
you have the opposite.
Yes.
You feel the dread and depression and almost like this separation from self for a lot of women. Like it's like a sadness you feel when you breastfeed or pump.
I guess it wasn't sad. It was a genuine, like I'm not a depressed person. I don't have depression. I think I feel like it would make me like a lot cooler if I had all these things. But I don't. And I think
It would
that
also
gets,
make you not as good.
I think it gets glamorized in Hollywood. I do think people like they wear their issues and I'm like, there's more to life than just like identifying with an issue.
You're so right, though. It does get glamorized. And I used to glamorize sadness. And then I feel like I experienced real sadness. I was like,
That's exactly right.
Don't do this.
I felt it. I felt true depression. And I actually called a few of my friends who I was always like, you're a little annoying. And then I realized, no, they're not annoying. They're depressed. And I called her and I was like, if this is what you feel like, if how I'm feeling right now is how you feel all the time, I am so sorry that I secretly called you annoying behind your back that one time you were late. It also created this empathy of like, if this is the heaviness that you carry, and there's a lot of people in my life that have that, I got it. I get it now. But I would breastfeed, and you're supposed to experience this like, oh, I'm connecting. And it would make me so anxious. I would pump and I would just store it for later. Because the hack is pump a bunch, and even though it'll like really hurt your boobs, leave it in the fridge, give it to the night nurse, she'll feed the baby. You don't have to wake up with the baby. And so I would just pump, but actual pumping made me feel I couldn't eat or drink or really have a conversation while I was doing it because it made me so anxious. And I would like watch TV and I would be like, you don't hate that actor or this show. You don't hate these things that you're reading. You have to wait 15 minutes and then you'll be fine.
That's definitely DMER.
It's that.
Yeah.
I'd have to tell myself like, no, you don't actually feel this way. You're not actually angry.
Yeah.
You just need to wait.
It can even look like women feeling like they have to vomit. Like they're so.
I felt nauseous.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat during it. Funny after. Like even water was like really difficult.
Yeah.
And it would just be me like just, you got to get over it. And then I was just like, what am I doing this for? No one cares. My baby's healthy. I did it the best I could. I pumped. And then I was like, rationally, this is clearly a brain chemistry thing. Yeah. That's any form of depression. This is our hormones and I was like, you are messing with it multiple times a day.
Right.
So multiple times a day, someone's like taking all the liquids and chemicals in my brain and shaking it. And I was like, this can't be good long term. So I just stopped.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
in case anyone out there feels that they need to do it for some weird trad wife reason.
I think that there is a lot of pressure around that. I think there is a lot of pressure to just like constantly breastfeed or do what's right or be a martyr to motherhood. But it's like, I think like, I don't know who said this or what researcher, but they said like the true marker or like indicator that your child is going to be like a successful like human being is to see not their dad happy, but their mom happy. Specifically the mom. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense because I think I grew up to be a very like anxious and truly depressed teenager, young kid, all the way to adulthood because I couldn't remember a single time where I looked at my mom and she was enjoying herself.
That's awful.
And I was like, wait, my mom doesn't smile. She's constantly stressed. She's pressed. I don't have a single memory of that.
I would believe that because we take so much from them. To be fair, and I never felt like anyone would judge me. I like to very much be there for women to be like anytime I see a mom, I'm like, whatever you're doing is enough and perfect. Because nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody is actually, like if you turn off Instagram, like no one's watching. No one's watching what you're doing unless you post it.
The other thing I think is like, if you're out there trying to be the perfect mom and raise the perfect child, like good luck. Because guess what? Your kid is a human.
Yep.
And we're all bad. Mm-hmm. We're all messed up in a way that's different from that one and this one. Like there's no perfect formula.
No. But that's the thing. It's like no one's expecting there to be it. But it is society wants us to spend all of our time, mental resources, and money trying to attain a version of perfection, even if it's just the way that you look or the way that you mother. And while you are doing this, while you are trying to get to this perfect version that doesn't exist, they are doing things like taking away our rights to our bodies. While we are pitting women against each other, because this is all a female discussion. When it comes to like moms and who's momming, men are not in that discussion. It's just women shaming other moms and women and weighing in. And while we are distracted by fighting each other over things that ultimately do not matter, because there is no award for who breastfed best or anything like that. Horrible things are happening. Your rights are getting taken away. Your mom wins. She had the biggest tits.
No, she just breastfed me until I was 3.5.
Oh, well, that's a choice that she made.
But you're so right because I got totally sucked into all of that because when I was with Bobby, I had 2 abortions when I was with Bobby. And because I was so public about that, it seeped into my mind that I no longer deserve to be a mother ever.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like it was such a huge guilt that I carried around being like, oh, like I can't even say that I want to be a mom anymore. So I would constantly say on podcasts, I want to kill my bloodline. I don't want to have kids. I don't want to do any of that because I had somehow convinced myself I didn't deserve it because that's sort of, I was told what a horrible thing I did.
You got infected by like the
male
outside.
comics. Male comics. That's like a male comic vibe, and they're like, yeah, bloodline, yeah, just like Japanese bloodline, British lords. I mean, I'm super pro-choice. I had an abortion. I don't feel bad about it. I don't ever think about like, what would that baby look like? I'm like, ooh.
I feel the same way with my miscarriage, although it did change.
I'm sorry you felt that way though.
Yeah, pretty
Sorry, I
shitty.
just
No,
wanna
thank you.
like,
Thank
that
you.
is a shitty thing to feel.
I feel very strongly that like it's not a baby till it's a baby. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I
like my miscarriage.
we could get into like what's a heartbeat. Like we could get into it.
I'm like, that wasn't a baby. Like it's
That miscarriage is brutal.
it was horrible.
I mean, I've had one, and it's the expectation, and you're all excited, and then and then it happens, and then I felt dumb. I felt dumb for being like, I'm like, how long was it not viable? And I was still walking around like, this is my baby. But then it like one day you wake up and like you don't even remember most of it.
Was
like,
yours before Sierra?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. This might be indelicate, but like my husband was out of town. I called him. I was obviously upset. I found out at the doctor's office. Like it was brutal. But I called him and he flew home. And on his way home, he picked up orange wine and sushi because it's like, well, since you may as well.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Like there's always food. I suppose there's always food.
Wait, okay, subject change, but I have a question, like, because you're sort of like the face of, you're the elder millennial, right?
Yeah,
the
that is
special
me.
on Netflix.
That is mine.
Gen Z has like really risen lately, like in the culture. Like, I'm curious
they got older. Let's call it what it is. They're getting old.
Your take on them, because I'm sort of over here like a Gen Z wannabe in some ways, although less so lately. But like, is there anything that the Gen Zs are doing that you're like, oh, I'm into that, or do you hate them? Like, what's your take?
No. Nothing will make you look older quicker than saying you hate young people.
Yes.
Because that's ridiculous. I mean, my new special, which is out today,
on Amazon,
it opens with a monologue I wrote about millennials versus Gen Z.
What?
I put it online. I come from a generation of comedy that does not put their comedy online. And then like over the last few years, that's kind of changed. So I put this on there and it went viral and did really well. So I was like, well, let's just put it in the special in like its polished form.
Sorry, I don't know if we're recording it, but this thing in my neck, and I got this new mattress. I'm just feeling so much better.
Was it a Helix mattress?
Are you guys sponsored by Helix?
Yeah, wait, why?
Every room in my home is a Helix. I literally gift people Helix mattresses.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
Here's what I love about Helix too. You can buy their core collection, but then you can upgrade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And get a
To
little
the
bit
luxe.
to the luxe. But then you can upgrade even more to the elite.
That must be new. See, I'm still using the Luxe, and I can't even imagine what the Elite is.
Try the
because I'm
Elite.
getting the biggest on the Luxe.
Well, guess what? There's a special offer.
Oh, this is the March Madness sale.
It's the March Madness sale. And you can get
It's 10% off, right?
20% off.
No. I'm saying for the March Madness sale. 20% was a while ago.
No, you get it again now.
Do you still get the 10-day money back guarantee?
The 100.
It's 100 day. So you're telling me I could try out this mattress literally for 3 months, and if I don't like it, they'll just pick it up from my place?
All you have to do is go to helixsleep.com/Trash Tuesday for 20% off. That's helixsleep.com/Trash Tuesday for 20% off.
I'm a bit conflicted because on one hand I want to say I wouldn't sleep on this deal, but the other hand I'd say it's the only deal to sleep on. That's helixsleep.com/Trash Tuesday for 20% off. Go on, take their sleep quiz. Are you a back sleeper, a side sleeper, a warm, a cold?
Standing.
Whatever it is that you're sleeping, you'll be doing just that. We spend 1/3 of our life on a bed. Why not invest in a Helix?
Me and KHALYLA spend 3/3 of our life on a bed. helixsleep.com/Trash Tuesday. We'll see you there.
If you're a bed rotter, this is the mattress.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Oof. Boy. Let me tell you something about therapy.
Yeah.
Indispensable part of my life. What about you, Rick?
I didn't even know what questions to ask until I was in therapy and I realized, oh, here are some patterns of things that I now could ask about. For example, like I used to not get good sleep and I used to think it was anxiety, but it turns out I was sleeping on the wrong mattress.
Wrong ad. I actually learned from my therapist that I have OCD, something I never would have known if I didn't actually take the time to go to therapy, which is why BetterHelp is so important. And I know you seem to have been doing a lot of work in therapy.
You gotta. And to be honest with you, for all those people out there, I'm speaking to some of these Irish folk that just live with the depression and you don't want to talk to anybody about it. You just want to go into the woods when you're hurt. Trust me, when you ask somebody that you don't know that is qualified to help you with this, and just say a question like, I'm not happy, BetterHelp will help it.
Now, let's say you don't like the therapist you're matched up with. How much does it cost to
It's
get
free. You can get a new one.
You get a new
Free.
therapist whenever you want? Well, I'll tell you something. If you go to BetterHelp.com/Trash Tuesday, you probably get 5% off your first month.
You actually get 10% off your first month, Rick.
Oh, God. Am I reading that right? You're telling me not only do they match you with a clinical licensed therapist, not only do you get to have your questions answered, not only do you get to find out what questions you should even be asking, and you get to do it from the comfort of your home, and you get 10% off your first month. And if you don't like who you're working with for free, you can work with somebody else. Now that is a deal I wouldn't sleep on.
Rick, your well-being is worth it. Visit BetterHelp.com/Trash Tuesday today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Trash Tuesday. Did you know that we have some news about a friend of ours?
What happened?
You know Bill Burr?
Oh, yeah.
You know him, that guy?
Yeah, Bill.
That funny guy?
He had a special come out a little bit ago. He said that was the last one, and there's no more, which is a
No,
bummer.
no. I have huge news. Bill Burr.
They're putting out that old special again? So
No, even better. New special, March 14th on Hulu, baby.
Really?
Bill Burr is coming to Hulu March 14th. Wait a minute. March 14th, isn't that Pie Day?
It is Pie Day.
It is Pie Day.
Well, get yourself a slice of pie and sleep on this. Bill Burr has a new special on Hulu. And when I say he's one of the greatest, pardon my words, he's the greatest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, legendary comic icon Bill Burr is coming to Hulu on March 14th with his new hilarious stand-up special.
Hilarious.
Hilarious. Get it right, Rick.
Hilarious because it's on Hulu.
And it's called Bill Burr Drop Dead Years, which is an amazing title, already funny. You guys can get Bill's provocative, unfiltered, and honest point of view on everything from marriage and parenthood to dating advice and dropping dead. Ooh, I love that. With his signature raw wit and sharp commentary, Bill fearlessly pushes boundaries. And you know the rest. It's Bill freaking Burr. He's so funny. Go watch his special, his new stand-up special on Hulu March 14th.
And get yourself a slice of pie. I would not sleep on that.
Strawberry rhubarb, if you're smart.
That makes you.
No, it doesn't.
Bill Burr, March 14th.
Rhubarb is a laxative.
Shut the up. It helps.
And to be honest with you, just so you know, none of that will be in Bill Burr's special, but it comes out March 14th, and it is hilarious. So give it a watch, March 14th.
Bill Burr, Drop Dead Years.
One thing I do like about Gen Z, I'm always impressed by the content they make sense of humor-wise. Like, there is a broader sense of humor with Gen Z in terms of editing and timing and videos. And, like, I feel like such a loser, like, laying there at night. I'm just like, he was taking a shit and he moved him. And the pumpkin smash. Like, just, I think their taste in comedy is at a higher level than millennial comedy was at that age, at that time. And it might just be because more of them have access to share it because of the internet. But just the perspective or the creativity in a lot of these things, a lot of it is garbage, but like, I don't know, I'm always happy to laugh at something genuinely, so I appreciate that.
I agree with you, and I actually am surprised to hear like a comedian admit to that, because I feel like most comics are like, all this online shit. It's like, no, it's actually so funny.
It's so funny. It's so good.
But it either hits or it doesn't. Like, you either get editing and you get timing. And I've seen videos that don't. Like, that's something you either get or you don't. And the creativity is always impressive to me. Like, from the perspective of whatever, the grapefruit not being eaten in your refrigerator. I sound so old right now. Or the perspective of something other than the first person narrative is always interesting. Or the way that they splice stuff together and it becomes a style. And there's the innovators and then there's imitators. But I always think that's cool. Am I thrilled at you guys co-opting like everything Y2K and acting like you were there while also minimizing 9/11? Not really. And I can tell you as someone who lived through it, like, it was all pretty ugly back then, and I don't know why you'd want to bring back a lot of that stuff now.
What do you guys think of like pimple patches or like their idea of putting out there the flaws? Because I feel like millennials always try to hide our flaws.
I can respect that.
I like that too.
And
can I just say one thing about Gen Z? I love how open they are about herpes.
They won't love that in 10 years when it's not cool to talk about it and you're trying to like run for senator.
Wait, are they? I haven't.
They are. They're open about all of it. You know, the shit that we were just like so hush hush. We were even hush hush about HPV once upon a time. Like, I remember being like, oh my God, that's it. My sex life is over. I have HPV. But no, everyone. I know everyone has it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, now they're just so open and chill about it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because don't you remember a time where people were like, oh, she has herpes. He has herpes. Like, it was like this, like evil.
I envy the body positivity, because it's something that we could have benefited so much more from. Like, and it does seem like young people were like, nope, we're doing this. And they're not letting fashion dictate it. They seem like a very depressed and anxious generation, but I'm glad that there is acceptance within it. We don't have to hear the story now, like, and I'm gay and no one liked me. And it's like, actually, if you're straight, you're probably going to have a harder time. And I sometimes, like, I do a double take. I'm like, oh, that model is not rail thin. We're so conditioned to see it. These are very normal people. No, you don't want to see normal people as supermodels. You don't. I mean, that's what a supermodel is. But most people are not rail thin. So seeing a girl who's a little bit bigger, like, that's a valid thing. You deserve to move through this world in the skin you're in, not being told that you're worthless and a piece of shit.
That sounds good.
So I think that that's cool. And you see a lot of girls that just sort of embrace that, and they're not doing it ironically. They're not like, and I'm ugly and isn't this funny? Like, they're like, no, I kind of like my body. Part of that is being younger. I think when you're younger, at the end of the day, like, it's still like you're still young. Like, your skin is still young. Like, it's a little bit more socially acceptable. But I like that for them. I like how open they are.
I remember when I was in college, I remember this phone call with my sister where I was like, well, obviously I can't get a boyfriend right now. And she's like, why? And I was like, because I'm fat. And she was like, fat people can have boyfriends. Wait, okay, you know what came up recently, which I feel like you'll be into? Do you remember when the word conceited was weaponized against us as women? Like, this came up on the podcast. Like, if you were a girl who, like, had it all and there was nothing to hate about you, people could just, it's like the Salem witch trial, like, they could just be like, well, she's conceited.
Or if you had even an ounce of confidence, if you showed that you liked yourself, or
When I was starting comedy, I got cocky, and I was like, what's cocky about the fact that I sold out these shows? And but it's reserved for women. And the internet, so this, when you're talking about when that happened, this is before the internet, like, was baked into, like, everything that we do. The internet is dumb. And the internet is largely younger people who are dumb, and they learn a word every once in a while. And a lot of it is, like, psychotherapy stuff, like gaslight.
Yes, I
you know?
was just thinking of that.
yeah.
And it's always frustrating when the internet rediscovers a word that, like, you've been using forever, and then all of a sudden it's that. So conceited feels like a sort of groupthink thing, and they're like, well, then this is what we'll say. And nobody really, it's like this harmful label that's just like a catch-all, but, like, it usually does more harm than good.
Yeah.
When the internet learns a word, because then it gets applied to everything.
I might be wrong about this, but I was talking to Rosebud Baker, and I will say about the millennials, the older millennials, is I think a lot of great dads are coming out of our generation.
Time will tell.
Really?
And I am worried about the Gen Z, the young men, only because I follow Professor Scott Galloway. But I do worry about the younger boys there, but I feel like, I don't know, I think that there are a lot of good dads coming out of our group.
Gen Z, when you hear about what their taste is in men, it's like, oh, they're gonna end it for all of us. Like, if you ask a Gen Z what their type is of a guy, they'll be like, I like a guy that looks like he eats cigarettes. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe, like, climate change is coming on time. Like, we're not gonna make it.
I think men are, they're kind of going towards more of the feminine, like,
It's a fad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, what?
It's a fad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I only say that because it always swings. Like, we see our politics swing one way and then the other. And then you see, like, it is no coincidence that just as Donald Trump becomes our commander in chief, all of a sudden trad wives are a thing. And then what will happen is we'll swing so far that way, as we did these last several years with, like, being liberal being shoved down everyone's throats in a way, and then it starts to swing. So and then we kind of never get back to center. But that look, then all of a sudden girls are going to get tired of that. And then it's like, well, everyone's kind of feminized now. Let's all put on the Carhartt jackets and become this. And by that time, then they'll be older. I mean, if I think about what I found attractive at the turn of the last century, right? Like, I wanted
What
a guy.
a phrase.
I know.
Trying
Like,
to sound
churn butter.
Trying to sound so old. Like,
I
you're
just-
90.
The older I sound, the more people will, like, believe. Like, oh, she knows. But, like, a guy in, like, a studded belt, probably from Hot Topic, that was wearing, like, an ironic T-shirt.
You liked that?
I had one.
Eliza.
I am so much older than you.
You're not.
It was so cool.
Oh
And it
my
still
god.
is.
I feel like that's fully swung back. That's
Yeah.
They're doing it ironically.
They-
They'll never know. Go to
will
a
not
casualty
know.
show. And I also think it's the tale as old as time that the current generation looks at the younger ones and they're like, oh my God. Like, you can see it quoted like back to like Grecian times. Like Aristotle being like, this new generation, I don't know. And so it's their job to annoy us because they'll have their turn at feeling old one day, and my daughter will be there to laugh at you. Yeah. Your turn is coming.
Are our kids Gen Alpha?
I think so.
Yeah.
How old is your child?
She's 10 months.
Oh, so she's the same age as my son.
Wait, how old is he? You don't know?
I'm just kidding. No, he's 11 months. His birthday is the day after my birthday, and my birthday is February 22nd.
Oh my gosh. Me and my daughter both born in March. I'm in the beginning, she's at the end.
I love that.
Yeah, because I remember I saw you the night before you gave birth, which was also psychotic.
At the Ice House.
No, at the Comedy Store.
I did both. Right. Because it was a planned. I was gonna get induced, so I was like, well, I'm not going into labor, so I may as well work.
It's so funny because the 5 nights leading up to my induction, I just sat in bed drinking boba, like upset and scared. Like
Because you hadn't done it before.
Yeah, that's true.
I had done it, and I was like, I know exactly what I will put up with and what I won't. I want to get out of here. I knew what I was signing up for, so I was like, let's shorten the duration of this entire experience. So I just worked.
That's so crazy. The night before, she was just like doing sets.
Esther, you were working like 3 days. We were filming and recording.
I don't know. I wasn't like out at night the night
It's the night that's tripping you
Yeah.
up. That I was out at night when I should have been resting
Yeah.
and breathing. The second time I was just laying in bed and I was just like, I'm so bored. And they give you the drugs and you're like, and we're watching Tokyo Vice, which was like my comfort show.
Wait, I watched that.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so
What
good.
is Sleeper? Have you seen it?
No. Should
Ansel
I?
Elgort fucking
Yeah,
should
and-
have gotten everything for this.
He speaks Japanese.
He speaks
in it.
Japanese in it.
He learned Japanese.
I will say that I saw him at a party and he was speaking Japanese and I was like, whoa, that guy.
That's why.
He knows what's up.
He did.
and I
It's
don't
great.
think he previously knew.
No, he
didn't-
learned it.
He
for
learned
the
it
movie.
for
for the show. Yeah.
Yeah. I texted my best friend. I was like, I'm waiting to give birth. Like, let's text. And she was like, I need to talk to you about gun control. And I was like, okay. And I was just like, it's not like the chillest topic. And then I was like in labor for literally like a minute and a half. It was like 2 pushes. And he
What?
was
Oh my
out.
god.
Wait, have you guys watched Severance by chance?
Love it.
Haven't gotten to the second season. Waiting. I know you burned through it.
You have to watch the recap otherwise, because you will not remember anything.
Honestly, that show is so emblazoned in my mind. I loved
really?
it so
You'll remember it.
much.
Yeah, okay.
And the
So good.
cliffhanger at the end, like had me in a chokehold.
Yeah.
So even though
She's
yes,
a-
I'm gonna watch all of it, I'm obsessed with the show. So I'm waiting till
It's-
I have the brain power to watch it, because
Yeah.
right now I'm like fully depleted.
It's a thinker, and it's so good that I read for season 2, and it was forever because they took such a break in between, obviously. For
So long.
I usually, if I read for something and I don't get it, I'm like, well, fuck you forever, and I don't care who got my part. I still can't wait to watch.
Wait, okay. Follow up question: were you able? Because I tried watching Severance like 2 years ago, and I have to admit that this is not a proud moment. I was like, I don't get it, and then I turned it off, and I was like, there's just a man walking in a hallway. This is so boring. But then I asked Dave, I'm like, what's the premise? And then once I knew the premise, I was able to. So like I kind of needed. Dave was like, well, yeah, you're just.
But
like,
I think
being
that's why I
stupid.
loved it, because I didn't know the premise. I went in blind. Someone said you have to watch the show, so I did.
Visually stunning.
And then the payoff was so big.
Well, I'm waiting for that big payoff. I'm waiting to see what Kira's all about. Like, I'm waiting to see, like, what are they doing? What is this important work? I hope it's not like a Lost where you're just like, what?
Are you one of those people though? Because have you heard of like raw dogging a movie or raw dogging a show where you don't know anything about it? You just see something, you watch it, you don't look anybody up after, and you just go to bed after you watch a movie. You go to bed.
do
You
that.
don't.
You do that?
I do that. My husband's I would call him a cinephile, and he'll be like, trust me, you're going to like it. I'll be like, okay, I will watch commercials. I will watch basketball games and just stare at the in-arena feed of like local entertainers. Like, I'm a TV kid, so like I'll watch it. Even if I'll just watch.
Without like having to scroll your phone.
Yeah, if I put it in the other room, then I don't miss it.
If I see even like a familiar face, where is that person from? And then I have to look it up.
Yeah.
And see what else they've been on. Do you do that?
I do that, but I recently did actually. I'm realizing I did raw dog a movie because Dave
Like,
was
it was a
like,
porn. Watch the whole thing without my phone.
he was like, "Do you want to watch this movie?" And I'm like, "What is it about?" And he's like, "How about I tell you nothing?" Because I always want to know what I'm getting into, but then I you can be like, So I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. And it was this movie called Between Two Temples. Have you heard of it?
It was like
I'm looking at you because it's a Jewish movie.
Oh, I think it was something else. I think I saw the title and I thought it was something else.
But anyways, I
Important
did
stories.
raw dog a movie and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it.
Which one?
The Between Two Temples.
Oh, yeah?
Which I'm assuming you've never heard of.
I've never heard of it.
You should raw dog it tonight.
Okay, I will.
Get your husband or your boyfriend, whatever.
I think the problem is I just options paralysis. If I go on any
Yeah.
streamer and then I see the little blurb or the synopsis, it fucks my whole experience up. And then I spent 2 hours just sifting through, not watching a single
but
thing.
That's the entertainment. My husband and I, it's just looking at the trailer for each thing, and then I just watch a rerun of Shark Tank.
Oh my God.
Same.
All day
I love it.
long.
I love Shark Tank.
It's so good.
Okay, maybe you'll get this, maybe you won't. And it's funny because this morning I said this to my husband and I was like, but I feel like no one would get this. When you YouTube TV Shark Tank, if you record it, right? 2020 comes on after Shark Tank on ABC. So you watch Shark Tank and it'll be like, coming up next week on Shark Tank. And then it has like the cute little trailer of like, we're two moms, we have cupcakes, this is a plastic thing. And then it cuts to the intro of 2020. So it goes from like, next week on Shark Tank, coming up, a bride found dismembered, a husband nowhere to be found. Were the children involved? And like the tonal shift is just so aggressive. From like a must-have like thing to clean your screens to like a mom found missing in her own tub. Hands missing.
I have a follow-up question really quickly on the raw dogging. So if you watch something and you don't know what happened or what the end was, you're not allowed to go on Reddit or anything?
Nothing. Or what did it mean? How did, nothing. It's just you go to bed.
Oh, see, I'm fighting you on that. I think raw dogging should mean you go into it knowing nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a complete 360 raw dog.
No, your questions go unanswered.
Why would you?
To
Why?
eternity.
Eternity?
You just say, okay, and then you come up with your own ideas about what you think the ending means,
No,
and
I
then
need
you
to be
stick to
told.
that.
And also, I can't be like, I've decided that's Tom Cruise. They're like, that's Scarlett Johansson. I'm like, no, I've decided that this was a small budget indie, not Mission Impossible. But raw dogging is going into it and the duration for the duration of the film doing nothing. But after, I don't think there's a term for that. I don't think raw dog extends beyond the credits.
I think we should try extending it beyond credits and just taking in the experience and then just
Are you one of those people that runs marathons?
No.
Are you one of
But
those?
I am one of those people that has recently I don't do GPS anymore, or if I get lost, I get lost. It's where it's going to take me.
If you don't show up at our next recording, understood?
Yeah.
No, not understood, because you should know how to get here by now.
Marathons, that's so funny.
Because that just seemed like such a regular, like, if you miss the meaning, you're not going back for it. It's over. And I'm like, she's in control of something. Are you like one of those like big puzzle people?
No,
Okay.
I
So no, but I spearfish, so that's weird.
Yeah, I do spearfish. If you guys want lobster, well, the oceans are shit now.
Can't
But
go
my
now.
lobster season is shot. I can't get anyone lobster. Usually
Why
die
am I
from
even
Why are you
friends,
friends
with
with her?
you? Yeah.
what spiny lobster, goodbye. No one's getting it this season.
I've actually never had lobster, so I'm good.
What?
You know what?
What the fuck just happened?
What?
Esther, what is wrong with you?
I'm very new to seafood, okay?
Wait, and you're not even allergic to shellfish.
You're not even
No.
kosher?
No, I'm not
Well, then
kosher.
why?
I think it's like from being Jewish funerals my whole childhood, and there being like locks sitting out and me being so grossed out.
Why
by
are you so upset
seafood.
at locks? Don't look at the two Asians. Look at me. It's like smoked locks. Like this is like one of the few things that like we have that other people want to
Okay,
eat.
but fish and like a cream product is
Listen to me.
weird.
It is. It's weird, and normally I don't enjoy fish and dairy, but this one works because there is lemon. So the lemon, you need the acid. If you're gonna, it's about the balance, the fat and the protein and the acid. You need the lemon.
Okay, and it's
Smoked
like,
locks too.
people are always like, other Jewish people will be like, "Oh, we got to go to Russ and Daughters." I'm like, "Yeah, of course," but
Why
I
would
would
you get? Would you do smoked whitefish?
no.
Oh,
Ugh.
it's cooked.
What? It's not about raw. I like sushi.
Okay, but you've never even had lobster when you eat sushi? Like a
No, but
lobster roll?
I would try lobster. Seafood is I'm coming around the bend to it late in life. Like this is like I'm in my 30s, so I'm slowly discovering it. Like I'll do sushi, I'll do cooked salmon. Why?
Are you weird
Why?
about types of fish too? Like,
I
would
just want you to feel bad. I'm just making faces to see what happens, but I don't really have a horse in this race. Is it a texture thing, or is it because it's from the sea?
I was also raised by like someone who didn't like fish, and so I think that's a factor. Like we just had like meatloaf and like baked chicken and broccoli chicken casserole. Like I didn't have like a diverse palate growing up.
That's okay.
Did you?
Not really. But my husband always talks about like you don't normally like the thing. If you have the best version of something, you might like it.
Oh.
Like people are like, I hate Brussels sprouts. It's like, well, they're actually delicious if not steamed and like shoved down your throat as a
Right.
child.
Yeah.
So if you do get fish, I would just encourage you to go somewhere where they prepare it well and it's good ingredients, so you can really know what it tastes like versus like beer battered lobster and you won't even taste it.
Right.
Make sure you have a freshly speared one.
Spiny lobster is very sweet meat
Okay.
compared
Very
to like
sweet meat.
Maine lobster. It's different.
It's different. And when you go for sushi, go to a place where you can like actually. I am not Japanese or a food purist, but like I do get sad when I go for sushi and it's like a rainbow roll. I'm like, why are we even bothering?
Same.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I
Like,
like a
tuna
rainbow roll.
with yellowtail
I'm a
with
purist.
the salmon. Yeah, what are we eating here?
I want to taste a fish. I would say go to Studio City, go to the Joint, and start there. They dry age a lot of their fish.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
and
She's so not going. She's like,
No.
oh, cool. Dry.
no, I really think this is a
she's
place
told me
where
about
you,
this before.
you might actually enjoy more than just salmon. They have the Ora King salmon there, but they have other kinds.
Can I say something about salmon?
What?
My husband does a lot of food research. He's a cookbook author. We do a lot of like talks about like sustainability in our house and aqua farming and like all these things that I had no context for until the last few years. But there are so many fish in the ocean and we only eat about 5 types. And so it is crazy that salmon is literally on every single menu in every single restaurant. And there's no reason for it. So like one of the best things you can do for the ocean, aside from spearing your own fish, is to eat alternative types of fish that are local.
Mm-hmm. And especially invasives.
Like a king.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when I spear fish, if I'm in Hawaii with my partner, we spear a lot of this fish called ta'ape and tuao, and they're snapper, but they were brought in. They weren't when something. Basically, they're invasive to the reef, and they destroy the reef.
Yeah.
So we shoot them a lot. We also shoot what we call like a peacock grouper.
What the fuck did you say?
Grouper. Sorry, I almost died. I choked.
You made it sound so Tagalog. Like a peacock grouper. Like,
A peacock grouper.
peacock grouper.
And yeah, it's really, I mean, that we don't eat because it carries a lot of like ciguatera. But the other stuff, like, have at it. I think in Florida, they kill all the lionfish there because, again, it's invasive.
That was a Shark Tank episode. They were trying to get people to eat lionfish because it's invasive. Like
Uni,
sea
yeah, urchin. Yeah.
Which you're probably not going to eat that. But people always eat salmon and like haddock and like pike. And there's so many other types of
Right.
like whitefish, for example.
What would your husband say to eat for fish?
Look, not everybody can go to the farmer's market, but he does. I don't think I'm going to be eating anything caught off the coast of California for a while just because of these fires. But like he normally goes to this fisherman who like goes to Santa Barbara that morning and they catch stuff and they bring it. And it's also about like eating other cuts, like a collar, or just so people know this,
Collar.
like just other cuts of meat versus just like a salmon fillet. The other thing that he always talks about is one of the most sustainable things you can do is eat like bivalves, like scallops and things like that, because these things clean the ocean.
Mussels.
Yeah.
And you can just harvest them, get them off of Malibu, go to the beach
not.
and get them yourself.
Do
Not
not.
right now.
Okay.
Not right now.
Yeah.
But typically,
I
like,
love
there's like the
scallops.
months of the year, they can have like domoic acid. So they tell you not to pick them like after May.
You are
and-
obviously more familiar with like fish harvesting than
But
I
I
am.
love what you're saying because it's true. Like in the coast of California, you can get yourself white sea bass, calico bass, sand bass, so many different
don't see it
types
on
of
menus.
fish. Yeah, sheephead.
and eat. Sorry, you're like I'm just gonna try salmon. We're like, here's the sustainable practices. Eating fish caught in the United States is one of the more sustainable things you can do. I think that people. This is so not what this podcast is about. but I'm
No,
gonna
this
tell you.
actually is.
What I think people think like, oh, I got my shrimp from Mexico or from Thailand. If you are eating U.S. caught fish, we actually have some of the best regulations around these things. And also think about it, your fish is traveling from closer, so there's less carbon emissions for that, or it's like
Right.
less freezing and stuff like that. So eating as locally as possible.
But weren't we just saying it's toxic here now?
Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
but it could just be U.S. caught versus
okay.
getting it from another country.
And also like mahi mahi, you can catch that off of California.
I love
Yellowtail.
I love a good mahi mahi from the Cheesecake Factory. It's a really good meal for
Ask
me.
him where they
Wait,
go.
I want to ask you to ask your husband.
Ask him right now.
There's this thing going around that a lot of the calamari we eat is actually pig butt and pig anus.
I heard that. Do you want me to ask him? Because he'll know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I This American Life had this whole thing about it, but it wasn't conclusive. And now I need to know if I've been
think
eating like.
You would know. I think it would say on the bag. I don't think that they could actually
But apparently,
call him.
because the consistency of calamari is similar to the rings
butthole.
of the pig butthole.
Is this like how
It's not true. just so you know.
California roll?
not.
'Cause it would be
is?
so much pig buttholes.
But there are a lot of pig buttholes.
There are, but
Oh my God, he's so cool.
he's so cool. And then like I teach him stuff about like tinted moisturizer and like how I'm feeling and like stand up.
difference between a good crowd and an okay crowd.
Wait, that honestly, everything he was saying about fish, I'm super interested in, just because
Yeah.
it's like I really, this is something that I feel like no one actually talks about or knows. I mean, California water is like, there's so much good fish here. Even what he said, like vermilion, like rockfish, or like cabezon, all is good. I can't even. I'll never
God.
end.
If you are able to go to a farmer's market or if you're able to pick something else, and obviously it depends on where it's coming from. But even as I say, like farmer's market, and I don't mean to like get into something as this is wrapping up, but like just talking about earlier, like the shame that you felt when you were talking about like having help, and then, you know, because your mom didn't. Even as I say farmer's market, what I hear is like, not everyone can afford it. Like you're up on your, and it's just like, no, but everybody can afford to make better choices in general. Everybody, I don't care if you only have 3 minutes a day. I don't care if you're on a budget. Like there are options. And I think in our efforts to make sure that we offend no one, you end up saying nothing. Like
I know.
there's nothing elitist about saying I go to a farmer's market. I don't go. My husband goes. I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping because I worked the night before. But like you're allowed. I'm not saying like all your food has to be vegan and sustainable and vertically farmed in your house with your own farmer. But like there are small choices that we can all make to impact the greater good.
I like that. I think it's so true. Like we end up saying nothing. I feel like the last 10 years I've had no personality because I've been like afraid of,
You don't want to get canceled.
yeah, or just like upset people.
And you know what? That's also because you're a woman. Men don't care. Like all your friends that have their podcasts, they say like vile things, and like it's fine, but it's easier to call a woman to task because we love to burn women. They didn't burn witches, they burn women, and we love to do it now. And so
Yeah.
And on that note,
on that note, watch my new special.
Iliza has a new special on Amazon called A Different Animal. And she also has a podcast called Ask Iliza.
Thank you so much. I was going to forget.
I know you were.
Asking if you want more of these hot takes about sustainable farming.
She also has a son, in case she forgets that again.
Ethan.
Yeah.
He's gigantic.
Iliza, thank you so much for being here. This was so much fun. Please come back every day, all the time.
Thank you for
'cause
inviting
you're
me.
The
Thank you
perfect
so
guest.
much.
This was great. Thank you for the banana.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week with a brand new episode. Shout out to our golden slugs, Chrysanta and Thomas. Thank you for your extra support.